People think hide and seek is just a game, until someone doesn't come back out. And in one small American town, kids learned something too late. You don't hide from something that has no face, because it's not trying to find you, it's trying to replace you. The town of Riverton, Ohio never made the news. It was the kind of place people drove through but never stayed in. Old wooden houses, quiet streets, and kids playing until the streetlights blinked awake. Nothing extraordinary ever happened there. Until the summer of 1998. It started with a game. A stupid, simple game. And one boy who never came back. The story had been passed down for decades, but only the older residents remembered the night clearly. The narrator, an outsider researching forgotten small-town disappearances, had interviewed enough locals to know one thing. They all talked about the same moment with the same shaking voice. The night the faceless thing joined the game. Back then, for kids lived on Brookside Lane, a quiet road lined with pine trees and peeling mailboxes. There was Ethan, the troublemaker, Noah, the soft-spoken kid who never broke rules, Kelly, the fearless one, and James, Ethan's younger brother. They were inseparable. Every summer night, they played hide and seek until their parents yelled at them to come home. Nothing ever went wrong. Nothing even felt strange. Until one night when Noah suggested they play in the backyard of an abandoned house near the woods. A place adults avoided but kids whispered about. Ethan laughed first. Kelly shrugged. James hesitated. But Noah's dare was enough. They hopped the fence and ran through waist-high grass, daring each other to get closer to the rotting porch. The house itself seemed to lean, like it was trying to whisper something. All the windows were blacked out, and the back door hung open slightly, as if waiting. "Let's play here," Noah said. "Bigger hiding spots." Ethan grinned like an idiot and covered his eyes. "Fine. I'll count." The narrator always paused here during interviews, because this was the part where every adult remembered the same detail. The temperature dropped. Not the cool breeze of nighttime, but a drop so sharp their breath fogged. The kids didn't notice. Ethan started counting loudly. Kelly ran behind a shed. Noah slipped inside the house even though he swore he wouldn't. James darted toward the trees. And then, someone else moved. The narrator collected all versions of the story, and though the details varied, one thing was always identical. The kids swore they heard an extra pair of footsteps. Soft, slow, wet, like someone walking barefoot on damp wood. Ethan opened his eyes at 30. He didn't know why he stopped counting early. He just felt wrong, like someone stood right behind him. He turned around. Nothing. He called out, "Ready or not, here I come." But his voice cracked in a way he hated. Kelly was found first, crouching behind the shed and hissing at him for cheating. Ethan shrugged and moved toward the trees. Noah still hadn't come out. James hadn't come out either. And that's when Kelly said it. "Ethan, did you hear it too?" He froze. "Hear what?" "That breathing." Ethan didn't want to admit it, but yes, he heard it. A slow inhale, a slow exhale coming from inside the house. They walked toward the porch, each step slower than the last. The narrator always emphasized how strange this part was. All three kids described the same sensation later. Felt like the house was breathing with them. Inhale, exhale, matching their rhythm. Ethan pushed the door open. The smell hit them first, wet soil, mold, and something metallic. The living room was empty except for debris and dust swirling through thin cracks of moonlight. The three kids whispered their names. "Noah, James." No answer. Ethan took one step inside and saw something move in the far doorway. A shadow. Too tall to be Noah. Too still to be James. Kelly grabbed his sleeve, whispering, "Don't." But Ethan stepped closer. "James," he said softly, "quit messing around." The thing moved again, jerky, like it didn't know how joints worked. The narrator had heard this described a dozen ways, but the core matched. What they saw wasn't human. It had a body, but where a face should be was only skin. Smooth, pale, stretched, like someone erased it. Ethan screamed and shoved Kelly backward. The thing tilted its head, not like it was curious, but like it was choosing which one to take first. Then a whisper, not spoken aloud. not heard normally. A whisper inside their heads. Count. That was enough. They ran so fast they didn't look back. Kelly tripped on the porch. Ethan dragged her. The woods blurred. Their lungs burned. They didn't stop until they reached James and Ethan's house. Ethan's mom opened the door to see 3 dirt-covered kids sobbing and screaming. Noah and James weren't with them. Police searched the abandoned house. Dogs, officers, volunteers, everyone combed the place. They found nothing. No Noah. No James. No footprints except the children's. No signs of a break-in. But every officer said the same thing. The house felt wrong. One officer, an older man named Rick, quit the force 2 months after. He told the narrator something he never told anyone else. When I walked inside that house, I swear I heard someone counting behind me, but no one was there. The disappearance shattered the town. Ethan and Kelly refused to talk for years. The house was eventually torn down, but locals still avoided the lot. And that should have been the end. Except, the narrator discovered something horrifying while digging deeper. Noah wasn't the first child to disappear on Brookside Lane. He was the 6th. And not one of those files mentioned a body, tracks, or suspects. Just a note scribbled by different police officers in different decades. Last seen playing hide and seek. The narrator didn't believe in curses, myths, or anything supernatural. But this pattern, this repeating horror, felt too intentional to ignore. Something in Riverton wasn't just watching children. It was learning them. It was joining their games. It was replacing them. And the narrator knew this wasn't over. Not even close. Because while interviewing Ethan decades later, he admitted something he had never told anyone. The night we ran, James was still alive. I heard him whisper behind me. The narrator leaned forward. What did he say? Ethan swallowed hard. He said, "Don't leave me. It's wearing my face." And that was the moment the narrator realized. The faceless thing didn't kill James immediately. It became him first. And maybe it was still out there. By the time the narrator dug deeper into Riverton's missing child cases, too many pieces weren't adding up. Every disappearance happened during summer. Every kid was under 13. And every family mentioned the same thing in their original interviews. The child had played hide and seek within 48 hours before vanishing. Patterns don't lie. People do. But patterns? They expose what everyone else ignores. The narrator knew he needed a first-hand account. Someone who didn't just remember, but someone who lived through the aftermath. That person was Kelly Simmons, now an elementary school teacher living 2 towns over. It took the narrator 3 days to convince her to talk. When she finally agreed, she chose a public place, a cafe with too many windows and too many people. And yet, the whole time she spoke, she never sat with her back toward the street. She kept glancing over her shoulder like someone might sneak up behind her. Kelly didn't start her story with the abandoned house, or the faceless thing. She started with the night after Noah and James disappeared. Her voice trembled, not from emotion, but from memory. We didn't sleep. Not one of us. Ethan kept pacing the living room while his mom called everyone she knew. I stayed on the couch shaking. I kept telling them what we saw, but nobody believed us. Adults never do. The narrator watched her hands. They moved constantly, fingers scraping each other like she was trying to remove something invisible from her skin. At around 3 in the morning, Ethan finally sat beside me. He asked me if I really saw it. That thing, without a face. And you know what scared me most? She leaned forward. I wasn't sure anymore. That part hit the narrator hard. Trauma does that, it corrupts certainty. Something horrifying becomes something maybe. A twisted survival instinct. But Kelly wasn't lying. Not about what came next. Around dawn, the sheriff came by to take statements. Kelly remembered the officer's boots leaving mud on the carpet. Their radios crackling. Everyone talking too loud like noise could drown fear. But Ethan said nothing. He wouldn't open his mouth. Wouldn't even look at the sheriff. He sat there gripping the edge of his seat so hard his knuckles turned white.